All right, the sailing alpha has been out for a little over 24 hours now, so I wanted to give myself enough time to pretty much complete every piece of content the alpha gave me, as well as read every single opinion that I could from players all over the skill spectrum, from casual to absolute gnomonkey. Now, sailing has been very controversial, that's no secret. I think if you look at any online forum or discussion place, most of the voices are either very negative or slightly positive, which I don't think looks good on the surface. However, I would like to remind you guys that is just the nature of online discourse. The loudest voices are the people who feel the strongest, so most of the people in this game, I assume, are probably fine with sailing. They're either ambivalent or okay with it, and those people are not going to go out of their way to make a post about it. Something interesting I did see was a poll that Solo Mission put out, and his YouTube channel, I would argue, has the best representation of every type of RuneScape player, and he got to 62% yes in favor of sailing with 20,000 votes. So I know this is just an alpha, but that makes me wonder if Jagex pulled the skill again, would they hit the necessary 70%? I'm not sure. I really don't know if they would have hit that before the alpha even, but I'll put everything into a nutshell for you guys. There seems to be a vast difference in opinion depending on who you ask. Like, it really is kind of a crapshoot. I really expected this alpha to set people's opinions more in stone. I felt like a lot of undecided people would have a better idea. I felt like a lot of people might change their mind based on the content. But if I'm being honest, and I didn't really expect this, I don't think anybody really changed their mind. If you hated the idea of sailing before this, you went into the alpha ready to hate it. This is how the brain works, and it's the same thing on the other side. If you were like, oh, I love sailing, or I'm okay with sailing, you probably went into the alpha being like, yeah, this is fine, we'll be okay. So the people that I really want to hear from are those that did change their mind, either from bad to good or good to bad. Now, we could talk about the controversy of sailing as much as we want, but for those who have not played the alpha yet, or just don't want to, I'm gonna go over everything that we got to see. So this is gonna be a long episode, guys, buckle in. Now, first and foremost, I wanted to talk about the movement of the boats, because this is the thing that I was personally most worried about. I know a lot of other players were as well, because this is the core of sailing. Like, this is what this skill is going to be. So if this felt bad, genuinely, yeah, sailing would be bad. However, I think it felt totally fine. It took a little bit to get used to, but obviously it's an entirely new system. Once I did though, after 10-15 minutes in the boat, it felt pretty intuitive. Like, it felt relatively old school. I liked setting my heading one way and just not having to click ever again. Trimming the sails, maybe it should be slightly more common. The one thing I didn't like was reversing. I think that's a big issue that a lot of people had. It feels very weird. It's also pretty easy to get stuck in certain places, but again, this is the alpha, so I'm assuming they'll do some tweaks to those things. Shipbuilding, I actually thought was really cool. It's pretty basic. It's basically just construction and practice, but I like the idea of being able to upgrade your ship and build some, monstrous thing that lets you do new activities. Like, it's really classic kind of RuneScape RPG progression, and I think that feels quite good as it is. The one thing I do see a lot, and this is from the sailing haters, is that sailing should just be a minigame. I will disagree with this. I don't think sailing should be a minigame. It's far too fleshed out. I think there's way too much content. Maybe something like Barracuda Trials could be considered a minigame. That's like the Winter Todd to fire making. But if you still think that after playing the beta, I would like to know how much content would a new skill need for it to be a new skill and not just a minigame? Because I feel like a lot of people coming from that camp are just saying that they don't want a new skill at all in RuneScape. And so just, make it a minigame instead. So I think it felt appropriately fleshed out for an alpha just in general. For the actual training methods, we also have a lot to talk about. Cargo tasks, those seem to be the bread and butter. You get them at every port. And I enjoyed the process of like planning and being really efficient, taking this task here that ends me up at this port here, which I need to pick up the other, like that kind of stuff. I enjoyed it in theory. And the sailing itself is fine. However, in practice, it did feel slightly clunky at times, especially with getting the cargo in the ship's hold. You got to run back and forth and deal with what essentially is like the Cox Bank, which I think feels terrible. And every single time I delivered it to a port, I forgot that I had cargo in there and that I had to manually get it out and bring it to the other officer. But maybe I'm just stupid. That could be it. With overall tweaks, I think this could be a fine grind, especially with all the methods that we're getting for this. So I'm not particularly worried. Now, note, I'm not going to talk about XP rates or loot because at this stage, that's kind of worthless to talk about. I just want to make sure the content is, you know, decent and passable before we talk about XP or loot. With that being said, it could be a little faster XP, but whatever. We also had salvage, which was again fine. It's nice to have a pretty AFK alternative. I don't think there's much to say about this one, but not bad. Also, Barracuda trials. These were my favorite, actually. I thought these were pretty fun. They were quite challenging, and they really did force me to interact with the sailing movement system, which got me a lot more comfortable. The only thing I decidedly did not like in these activities was charting. Charting to me felt very tacked on, very random, just one-time task to go somewhere on the map. It felt very meaningless and kind of disconnected. Maybe they expand it in the future and make it something like, I don't know, achievement diaries where you can get permanent rewards once you do a certain amount of these tasks, and you have to get a certain sailing level to get to certain location. I don't know. I didn't love this part, if I'm being honest. But I've been rambling for a very long time. So again, my question to you guys is, if this went to another poll, do you think sailing would pass? I'm not confident in my answer. Honestly, I don't think I could tell you. Anyway, thank you for listening to all that. I'm very excited to see how the conversation for this goes. We're jumping to the clips today. Welcome to Behemeth. My name is Tasty Life. The Coliseum pillars are no longer safe because gnomonkey has got the drop.
Hit him!
Hit him! Spawned.
The freest rate of my life.
The
purple! There's no way. There's no way.
What the f, bro? What? What?
That's not real. There's no what?
A leech has spawned.
And he does go directly to Coliseum. In this cosplay, he looks like the peanut butter baby.
I missed it. What did I do wrong there? I actually don't know what I did wrong there. Why did that not off tick?
Okay, I saw this clip with 50,000 views. I don't know what Will is drinking.
It's a little, I noticed it's a little thick for an energy drink. I'm gonna chase that with some water, actually. Bro, click the link. What is it? You are fucking kidding me. Bird-friendly recipe mimics real flower nectar made of pure cane sugar. Dude, this is maybe the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to me on stream. Okay, I'm gonna go pour this out. I don't know. This is really bad.
The Europeans decidedly need to be stopped, dude. This alpha was out for like 10 hours and Hebox discovered this.
Yeah, if you can like have 2 salvaging hooks, that will be cool. Then you can actually just 1.5 ticket. Trials could still be better? Probably, yeah. I'm not sure if they actually want this to be like the meta, but it is funny that you can just do stuff like this.
Alright, you are about to witness what could have been the single greatest Twitch clip in RuneScape history if it wasn't for some quick thinking by Lake.
I don't have a free-to-play teleport. Guys, how do I escape? I'm not joking. How do I escape? I can't escape. Right click the stairs? There's no escape. You're kidding, dude, there's no escape. Where? Do I press yes? Holy shit. Get me out of here, man.
This is a scary one. Faux very nearly loses a life but gets off a clutch teleport.
Yes, thank you for the reminder to turn off the crystal. I'm just gonna deposit it, honestly. This game, bro. Goodbye. Oh no.
Our very own prisonjoe gets to his second soul attempt.
Man, god damn it!
I swear to God, it's always TOA that's about to kill a hardcore dude every single time.
Damn, he's so needy. I just love you so much, Drinks Man, alright? I just want to make sure you're still here because I'm lost without you. I was going to throw the word baby on there in the end, but I stopped myself. No! No!
Here we got Vomp who grabs the pretzel.
It's not working, the trolls at the moment. Oh, there we fucking go! What the hell? Ooh, there it is.
This clip's from faux, and honestly, I don't disagree with this.
Farmers versus Rizzlers boxing match? I'd put money on Denise over Dino any day.
This is just a casual daily PK for the GOAT Greg. Deviate hunting some Araxor on the hardcore.
Maybe I'm just tweaking. Oh, I mean, that's cool, I guess. But I don't want the pet.
Skiddler's putting on an absolute masterclass on how to use a phone call scammer for content.
I know, mate, I know. I'm sorry, bro, for wasting your time. But yeah, you are a scammer, and I'm trying to play a video game for money. So I'll see you later, bro.
What kind of video game is that?
I'm playing Runescape, bro. Do you play? What are you sighing?
Now, I think Jagex's stance is changing. I think that I heard that the 2004 skate people went to Runefest to meet up with Jagex, so something might be happening there. I mean, it could be rubbish, I don't know, but hopefully that's true, and they're having a conversation about how to exist, because it would be quite cool to allow them to exist. A private server never ever be better than the main game. I can't see that ever being a thing. Some individuals might think it is and go and play that, but it'll be tiny amounts of people.
I think it's a pretty easy money grab if Jagex makes some official 2004 servers. Honestly, I would love to see it. Febb doing every hardcore's favorite quest.
Oh my god. Okay, I got chanced.
All right, that's all we got for you guys today. I'm absolutely sure we'll have more sailing news to talk about. As a reminder, if you got this far, we are rolling a 400 million GP giveaway today at 7 p.m. Pacific. So it should be about right after this video comes out, maybe an hour. I'm gonna do that live on my stream. That will be linked down below. You guys can check that out. You don't have to watch it to win. I'll just write down your RSN if you do and message you later. But comment your RSN on this video, the video of this thumbnail right here. That's where we're rolling the giveaway. That's important. And then also have your private on or add me in game 7ASTY. Thank you guys. I love you. We will see you tomorrow. Mr. Bamble, take us out.
This has been enjoyable.